Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Movie Kit podcast. I'm your host, Kit Bowen. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to talk about a movie that did come out about a week ago and has already had lots and lots of conversation makers about it. But I wanted to, my very good friend Joel Amos. Hi, Joel. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
So Joel didn't get a chance to see it, but I wanted him to see it because I wanted to have a conversation with him about it. And
Mm-mm.
it is The Drama, which stars Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. Um, it's about and by the way, I am going to say that if you haven't seen this film yet, you may already know the twist. There's a big twist, but we are going to spoil it in this review. We're going to talk about it because it's worth talking about, and it's really the whole point about this movie and how it hits people differently. So we were going to talk about the twist. So if you still haven't seen the film and you don't want to know the twist, then you could tune out right now and come back and join in on the conversation to tell us what you thought about it. But again, it is about a happily engaged couple who are whose relationship is put to the test when an unexpected turn sends their wedding week off the rails. It's directed and written by Kristoffer Borgli, who I is that person a new kind of is he a new person to
Norwegian.
the scene? Norwegian. Okay. Is this
Yes.
based on a Norwegian film?
I think this is original.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna let you start us off. So, what did you think of The Drama, Joel?
Well, it's got drama. Um, when I left the theater, I really honestly did not like it.
Mhm.
I was very not happy even watching it. Um, but then I realized that like I just literally got back. I don't care about getting too personal, but I just got back and visited my dad. He just had a stroke, and I was very emotional. And I'm
Mhm.
not sure this was the best movie for me to see the day after I got back. Um, so
Yeah.
I'm realizing with a little time that I think uh, there's a little more appreciation to it than initially I had. I mean, I still have some issues with it, but one thing I can say is, I just with what they've done, like I think Robert Pattinson and Zendaya
Zendaya.
is just phenomenally talented. They are
Yes.
just so talented, and I mean, and they're both still really young, even though they've been at it for like 10 years, you know. And they were incredible. I just thought they were absolutely incredible. In hindsight, like
Right.
I can appreciate what their characters did and do and how they interact and how in the span of this week, what happened to them happened to them. And I can really appreciate that. And I can appreciate what the director was going for. It's his story. He wrote it. Um, and one thing I do like is there's a big, to me, there's a big difference between European films and American films.
Yes.
I don't think that they always talk about the Hollywood ending. Well, they don't necessarily believe that in Europe. I mean, it's not like every movie is a downer or ends on a downer, but it's just, it doesn't go the way you think it's going to go.
Right.
And I think I personally also appreciate that in hindsight. And
Yeah.
I realize that now with time that I like European movies because, that's what I mean, like Run Lola Run, like that if that was made in America, it would have been a very different movie.
Right. Right.
Um, and so anyway, I can appreciate it. But kind of the twist, the heart of the issue between these two,
Go ahead. You
um,
can say it.
I I don't like it's kind of like saying I thought about doing something and I was going to do it and I was about ready to do it and then I just didn't. And I'm like, okay, so what if it was thought of? It wasn't put
Well,
into
here's the thing. Okay, so again, like I said, I know you're not saying, but we are spoiling it. So
okay, go for it.
the twist is, it's this, they're very cute, sort of very New York couple, right? And he's a curator at a museum, and I don't know, I don't think we ever really knew what she did, but they meet cute at a coffee shop, and it turns out that she's deaf in one ear, and so she doesn't hear him when he comes up and tries to, to meet her, to talk to her. And she's got like music playing in the other ear. Anyway, um, Pattison, kind of like a Hugh Grant back in his day. Pattison has a
Yes.
really great way of making you uncomfortable, but also being super cute at the same time. Th this film is kind of, I mean, he's the one who made me feel the most uncomfortable through the whole thing, but he does it in a brilliant way. You're right. Both performances were amazing. But what happens is they get engaged, and they're sitting around with this other couple played by Alana Ham, and I don't know how to say his Mahmoudou Ati, maybe. Um,
Yeah, I think that's about right.
uh, and they talk about what's the worst thing they've ever done. And so they kind of all go around the table. And I have to say, Alana Ham's worst thing she ever did, her character, Rachel, wasn't great
No,
either. Wasn't great
no.
either. She locks some kid, some, mentally disabled child in a like a refrigerator or a cabinet or
Uh-huh.
something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
and then runs away. So yeah, that wasn't so great.
yeah.
But then they get
She's Nobel
so
Peace Prize
yes,
potential winner right there.
exactly. But then they get to Emma, Zendaya's character, and she says, "Well, I was thinking about doing a mass shooting at my school.
Yeah.
Boom,
When I
boom.
was
Okay."
15.
When I was
You,
15.
you I'm sorry, but and I was really depressed, but I didn't do it.
Exactly. So
And
then the
he's like,
whole film just
"You
goes
did what?"
off the rails from that point on. Just exactly what it says in the in the description. Because you know, the thought of what I was going to say is that there is one at one point, Robert Pattinson, Charlie's character, Charlie says, "Who has? I mean, who would we know walking down the street, passing all these people who may not have had a thought in their head at one point that they just wanted to go and shoot up their office because they hate everybody they work with, or, they want to." He says the American culture, because he does kind of blame, and you were, bringing out the point about it being made by, a European filmmaker.
Hmm.
The American culture of gun violence and just the ease of getting a gun, all of those things contribute to sort of this, and I agreed with him, this kind of weird culture we have with that
Yeah.
idea. But it's also humanity. I mean, come on. I think probably every one of us at one point thought, God, if I could just kill that
Hmm.
person, or, I mean, it's it's not like you
Well,
are gonna ever do it, but she gets close. That's the thing that's scary, is that she practices with the rifle, and you see her, you do these flashbacks, and you see her, that's how she loses the hearing in her ear, is that she shoots off the rifle next to her ear, and it blows out her eardrum. um so you see how close she gets, and you can see she's bullied at school, and all of those things that contribute to someone who does something like this. But she is actually not in a mental health deficit, really. In essence, she's 15. At 15, we're all in a mental health deficit at some point.
and our
But
brains aren't formed.
no, and I think, showing her how she thought it was kind of a cool, like, she's in a, a camouflage jacket, and she's got black makeup on and all this kind of stuff, and she's, trying to be all tough and cool and whatnot. And you come to find out that her father is, he's military, right? He was in the, um right, I can't remember, something
Yeah.
about, yeah. um so she's had that sort of upbringing as well. But um so what I think is happening with people who are seeing this film, and why it's so divided, is how that hits you. Are they making light of the fact that, she had a gun and she actually took it to school, and she might have thought about doing this, but she didn't end up doing it? It becomes like the face of a gun control situation because everybody suddenly likes her. It was this whole weird, twist that comes in her young high school life, right? Um, So that's, I mean, I think that's a valid point. It doesn't make light of this, but I don't think it does in the way
Mm-mm.
that they talk about it. But really what it comes down to is how do these two people who obviously love each other, how are they going to move past this, right? Or how are they going to make this work or not make this work? And like I said, Charlie is the one that's like, "Oh God, Charlie, just stop talking." I mean, he's just so he can't. He has no filter. He can't. And she
None.
at one Emma at one point says, "You fixate on things. You fixate on things." Well, yeah,
Hyper
fixated.
fixated.
I'm pretty fixated on this. And
Yeah.
just the whole wedding, because things really come to a head at the wedding, and just, all of it is very squirmy. It's a uncomfortable movie. So
Yeah.
whether or not you sort of buy into it, and like you said, kind of uh, in a way, can understand where these people are coming from, these characters are coming from, and how well they are portrayed by these two great actors. Really, honestly, this movie wouldn't have worked without the two of them playing these parts. I mean, they had a handle on the situation, and that they, the both of them just were so good together. But also the supporting cast too were very good. So yeah, it's a difficult film, but I ultimately walked away with it going, "Wow, okay, I understand how she might have, as a 15-year-old, come to that conclusion in her brain, but then how it could just easily be switched around." So I was made me think a lot, but I didn't walk away not liking it. So,
Well,
um,
I was thinking about it, and I think this is a case for um, okay. Sometimes you get home from a movie. I mean, I don't. Uh, you get home from a movie and you sit down and you write your review.
mhm.
And I think this would have been a case where it would have been very good to wait a couple of days before
Yes.
writing it. Now, granted, sometimes you don't have that leisure if you have a deadline or whatever. But sometimes they do editor's note, film critic would like to add, and then you write a paragraph about how you kind of a little different.
Yeah.
What got me and my first initial reaction was it really bothered me that things went the way it did off the
Oh,
rails because
okay.
we see all this stuff, but she didn't do it.
Right.
She
So why
didn't
is
do
she
it.
being,
So
yeah, why is
what
she,
is the
yeah,
big deal? What is the big
yeah,
deal? And this is the crux of the whole movie.
yes,
And I'm like, what is the big deal? She didn't do it. I mean, like you said, how many people are like, they'd be like, oh my God, that guy really I just had a guy blew his head off, but you're not going to really do it. But
right.
then I thought about it. And then I thought about it. This is being told from a foreigner's point of view.
Yeah.
And maybe
Yep.
after 20 years of school shootings, maybe 22 years of school shootings since Columbine, I, without realizing it, have become so desensitized to the issue that if somebody is right up to the edge to doing it, but doesn't do it, I'm like, they're as innocent as anybody else. What's the big deal? But to a European, the fact that this person even considered this and took it so far as she did is a fault on her character.
Hmm.
And I think that's the difference between us and honestly the rest of the world.
I know. I know. And that's what Charlie has that whole speech about it. You
Exactly.
know,
And this took me a
he's
couple of
like,
days to
she didn't
realize.
do it. She didn't do it. She realized she didn't do it. Um, Now, in the film, it comes to light that she actually changes her mind after an actual in her community, in Emma's community at the time, there is a shooting at a mall. So a few students were killed, and few of her high school students were killed. Um, and so that's what changed her mind, kind of. I don't know. I mean, it's it's a weird deal, and of course, Haim's character, Rachel, is so appalled because her cousin was shot and paralyzed in a shooting situation. So for her, it's just how could you even,
Yeah, of
you're an evil
course.
person no matter what you did, even if it was when you were 15 years old, you're still an evil person now. I mean, but
Mhm.
that's a valid point for her. I
That's
didn't, yeah,
that's where she's coming from.
yeah, and rightfully so. rightfully so. Um, but it
And we
is,
can
they
see
are
where
really,
Charlie's coming from.
yes, yes, and you're right. They were really hard on the Emma character, and um, some people didn't like that I talked to thought that they were unfair to her, kind of thing, that character, and like they didn't give her enough. She didn't have enough time to, you know, defend herself, but she kind of that was also a little frustrating, to be honest with you. I thought I would have probably been defending myself more. I don't know. She just basically just didn't want to ever think about it again. And she was drunk when it came out, and clearly it still is lingers in her head. But after having to talk about it all over again, she's just like, I don't want to anymore. I'm not that person anymore. I'm a grown woman now, and I'm not that young girl anymore. So I just don't want to talk about it anymore. So she just, stops talking. But Charlie's like, I can't stop talking about it. He won't let
Now,
it go. He can't let it
here's a
go.
cut. Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you see any signs of repentance in her? Or is it just I don't want to talk about it?
I think that's the
For
thing.
even having the idea.
I think she does have it, but I think I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I saw too much. Did you?
Yeah. Yeah,
You did.
no.
Okay. Yeah.
No, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
I think she
Yes.
just wants to move on, but like in her head, she's like, I didn't do it, so let's move on.
Exactly.
When let's get behind the idea that you even had this idea in the first place.
Right.
I mean,
And
it's not
she
the end of the
tries to.
world.
She does explain it a little bit, and that's we see the flashbacks of her,
Right.
making these videos.
But I'm
But
also taken to this idea of, I mean, not that I'm practicing Christian, I'm Jewish, but like the idea of, forgiveness for your
hmm
sins. I mean, we're all
hmm
not perfect. A lot of people deserve a second chance. I mean, that's another big thing in America that
yes.
maybe the rest of the world is we firmly believe that people deserve a second chance. Maybe not everybody, like, Bill Cosby, but like, you
Yeah,
know,
but he got one.
he did.
Maybe,
He
but
did.
maybe not Harvey Weinstein. Let's hopefully he doesn't.
Well, right.
Or
But
P
I'm just
Diddy
saying,
did. I mean, whatever. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it's a we're in a country where people believe in second chances. So I mean, maybe that's how she saw herself,
Yeah,
but it just brings up a lot
a
like that
lot.
that
And
I
how
don't
can you
think
fault a movie? How can you fault a movie that makes you think this much?
isn't
That's the thing I
isn't
have
that
to
one of the
just come
things
back.
isn't that
Yeah.
one of the things we love about the movies?
Yes. Yes. And you know what? Not every movie does that. So you can enjoy a movie that's just pure, fluff or pure action or whatever the case may be. But that's not this movie. This movie wants you to think, wants
I
you
mean,
to, you know,
yeah, ponder.
discuss
Yeah,
and discuss.
it. It's not even the same ballpark. But I will never forget walking out of the theater the first time I saw 12 Monkeys. I mean, I
Oh,
was like mentally affected by that movie, and I thought about it a lot. And my wife and I talked about it constantly for a day. And it just like, I mean, it's been 20 something years, and I'm still thinking about that. Like, it makes a movie like that can make an impact on you.
yeah. Yeah. Or something
And
really, really devastatingly tragic, like House of Sand and Fog, uh,
right,
which again kind of taps into, xenophobia and just all of that comes out, and the tragedy behind it. But just, yeah, movies like that just affect you, and you just walk out of them and you just can't stop thinking about it. I mean, there's something to say about a movie like that.
Mystic River really got me.
Mr. Grover, yes.
Oh my God,
Wow.
I can't even go there.
Yeah.
Sean Penn in that movie, forget about it.
So conflict. Yeah. Just, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Anyway,
those morally ambiguous choices that a character makes in a film that, affects you whether you like them or not like them. And I thought
yeah.
the ending of this film was definitely ended on a positive note. So, um, because ultimately, and to be honest with you, this is how I felt. ultimately I was rooting for them. I wanted them to stay
Yes.
together.
Well, that's the key. It too is that, we talked about their performances, and it's one thing to be a great actor or a great actress, but you're not acting in a vacuum. You
Yeah.
know, these two need to work for this entire thing to work,
Hmm. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they have that in spades.
Yeah. And I wanted them. I wanted them to be together. I wanted them to make this work. I wanted them to be together. Um, you don't know whether or not they'll end up together, and then later down the line might something might not work out. That happens, but I did at the end of this want them to be together. So, um, and like I said, I was rooting for them, and it's like it's an uncomfortable movie. So, but we're not. I'm not in the minority as far as we both actually audiences too are walking away from it talking about it. So on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got some pretty high
Yeah,
scores on both ends. So
both
um,
ends.
both ends, both ends.
So, I mean, if you like your movies cerebral
And we
and
don't get those
complicated,
very often. We don't.
no,
Unless,
and
no, that's not true. We do get them, but they are generally international films.
yes, exactly,
Like,
and
like, like it was just an accident last year's a film out of Iran. That is another one. It's another one that makes you think.
what
Morally
was
ambiguous choices that these people make, but
what was the oh
so
shoot.
you remember? Do you remember?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the movie last year. They got nominated for Best Foreign Film, Best Picture, something The Door, something.
Oh, The Secret Agent.
Yeah,
Secret Agent, and then Sentimental Value. Those were the three.
yeah,
Also, Surat, I think, was another one that came out that
yeah,
was supposed to be really good. But it was just an accident is the one that, for me personally, really made me think because, it centers around these political prisoners who are now living their lives in like Tehran, and they he one a mechanic, a car mechanic, uh, a man walks in to get his car fixed, and he realizes this man, or he thinks this man was one of his torturers when he was in prison, and he ends up kidnapping the guy and stuffing him in like in a locker, like a big locker thing in the back of his van, and ends up finding other people who were in the same situation as he was, as political prisoners who were also tortured by this guy, and he's trying to get confirmation that that's who this person is. And so you've got like this couple who are getting married, but they were both they both knew who this guy, and they had some other guy come in who was more angry about it all. Anyway, it was very, again, it takes place through just a day, like a 24-hour period of time. Um, but what they end up, how they end up dealing with this person who's been kidnapped by them. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating,
yeah,
also, character driven, superbly written film. Um,
yeah.
so,
The film I was thinking of was Anatomy of a Fall.
oh yes. Oh gosh, yes, a couple of years ago.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That got me in the same way.
Oh, totally, totally.
Yeah.
Like
Glad I found it.
you think she thinks she pushed him, but did she? I mean, yeah,
Did she?
that was also very well done and very well written.
Oh,
So yeah, so
so happy I found it.
they all come out of Europe or other places. So not
Yeah.
here. Every once
God
in a
bless
while,
him.
we'll throw one here.
Right.
But yeah, again, it's hard to give a star system to the drama because again, it's such an interesting film. But I mean, I would give it a solid 4 stars for me, walking out of it and whatnot. So for me, it was 4. How about you?
I have changed, my tune with time, and it's, you're supposed to be professional as a critic and rise above, and I'm just glad I did not have to write this review in the first 24 hours after I saw it, because
Yeah,
I'm with you too. It's a four. It's
yeah.
a four. I mean, and I love movies that make you think, and I guess I was
Even
just
if it
not in the
pissed
mood
you
to think.
off. So it pissed
Right.
you off. So that's okay. You could be walking out of that
Right.
going, that sucked. That made me really mad and I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
24
But to think
24 hours
about
later,
why it made you unhappy.
Yes, exactly.
It wasn't because of the film itself, the writing and the acting, and that wasn't what's pissed you off. What pissed you off was the feeling it gave you that you didn't want to
Yes,
feel right then and there, which is
right.
totally valid. And you know,
And one of the reasons we go to the movies, good or
yeah,
bad, you know,
it's true. I
it
mean,
it affects you.
yes. Yes, everyone, movies are great to go to escape, but every once in a while you need a little daily dose of reality and, you know, some very pertinent themes to the world and whatnot. So sometimes you have to take a little bit of that with your fluff and your action and your spectacle and your all of that, which is also great too. So, you know, it's it's all good. It's all good, but a movie that makes you think is also a great movie. So
It's
see,
funny.
I knew we'd have a
Yeah,
great
sorry.
conversation. I was going to
Yeah,
say, I
of
knew we'd have
course.
a great conversation. What would you
Yeah,
say?
I was gonna say, like, I know we already reviewed it, but like I saw F1 the other night or
Uh,
yesterday, and after seeing this, and the difference between an American movie and a foreign movie is incredible because I decided after seeing this that if a foreigner had made F1, Brad Pitt would not have won in the end. He
or
was
he would have
having
been
a
killed in a
kill.
fiery crash. Yes.
Well, he was barely seeing, he was stumbling. My wife was like, "Oh my God, he's gonna die." I'm like, or he's gonna win." And then I'm like, this is the guy who made Top Gun, okay? He ain't dying.
But it was still good. God,
No, it was fantastic.
we
Best
don't want
picture,
Brad
one of
Pitt
the
to
best pictures.
die.
No, top 10 best pictures of the last year, of course. But like, if that was made by this guy, we would have had a different ending.
Probably. Well, here, just real quick, I also saw a movie that's coming out this weekend called You, Me, and Tuscany. Your favorite guy, Will
Mm,
Packer, he
yes,
produced
sir.
a Girls Trip, you know, known for
Yep.
his fun, lighthearted kind of films. This one was just like that. Very formulaic. I rolled my eyes a few times, but still, come on, pretty people in Tuscany eating wonderful food, drinking gorgeous, you know, great wine and, you know, falling in love and all that stuff. And you're like, okay, all right, I can do this too because, you know, why not? It's a feel good movie and why not feel good? You know,
Right.
it might make you think, oh, I've seen this 1,000 times, and sometimes the dialogue was like, but you know, it's okay. It's okay. You can enjoy a movie like that too. So,
Well, you know, my wife is a romance writer and she loves romances, films, books, whatever. And she says the key to a fantastic romance is that the guy has to be unbelievable hot. And from what I've seen in the trailer, they really nailed it on this one.
of course, it's the guy from Bridgerton, Roger
Right.
Jean Page. You
He
know,
just
gorgeous,
drips it.
gorgeous individual. But also the Italian
Drip.
guys are all really cute.
Of course.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
people.
Pretty
Good
people
job, Will. Good
in
job, Will.
Tuscany. Why is
Yeah.
Tuscany such a what like I mean how many romantic movies have been set in Tuscany? What's about
I don't
that
know.
place? I mean it is looks pretty amazing to me from this movie, I have to say.
Yeah.
So
Sign me up.
anyway, thanks, Joel, and I'm glad we got a chance to talk to it. So again,
Me too.
if you've come back into you've seen the movie, the drama, and you've come back in, let us know what you think of the film, good or bad. Leave your comments below and do all that great stuff, and subscribe and like and come follow us along on our journey here. And we'll be back again for more reviews coming up. We've got the summer season is starting to crank up, man. I think they're saying that
Yes.
the Devil Wears Prada 2 is kicking off the summer
Yeah.
movies.
And that actually looks real good.
And that track, that's a new thing, you know. Generally, we have some kind of a superhero movie kicking things
Yep.
off. And for the first time in a very long time, we've got more of a, you know,
Female
another
driven film.
female-driven film based on
Kicking off
a,
the
you know,
summer, baby.
sequel to a summer sleeper. Or I don't know, did it come out in the summer?
Yeah.
It
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely was a
Yeah.
sleeper hit, man. Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
So. All right, everyone. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk soon. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.